Hello there. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time it is where you're watching me from. My name is Carol Owoyele. Welcome to Real Estate with Carol. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about the buyback scheme. My goal with this video is to explain to you the buyback scheme and let you know how you can take advantage of it. Now, you've probably heard about the buyback scheme. Maybe you don't understand it clearly. Maybe you've taken advantage of it. Maybe you've never even heard about it. Now, for those who have never heard about the buyback scheme, or you heard about it, you're not really sure how it works, so you just, ignored it, this video is going to really help you out. Now, the buyback scheme is something that real estate developers came up with to solve a problem that they were faced with, and to also solve a problem that investors every now and then face, thereby creating a win-win situation for both the real estate developer and the investor. Now, what is the real estate buyback scheme? The real estate buyback scheme is an investment opportunity created by the real estate developers that allows them to technically buy back a property that they've already given to the investor at a predetermined amount within a stipulated period of time, usually 6 and 12 months. So what is the problem that the real estate developer is having? The problem that they are having is the problem of money. They have a lot of projects to run, but they don't have the money to run those projects. They don't have the capital. Now, before the buyback scheme, most real estate developers will go to the bank to get loans. Now, most times those loans are not reasonable, and most times those loans don't give them enough time to pay the loan back. So they decided that, okay, we already have people investing in real estate. What if we, bring up an offer that they can benefit from, a win-win situation, and we get that money that we are looking for to invest without this interest rate that the bank is tying our necks with. So that's how the buyback scheme was born. Now, as an investor, how do you benefit from this? What problem is it solving for you? As an investor, every now and then, you find yourself in a situation where you have some amount of money that is either sitting in your savings or sitting maybe in a mutual fund or any other investment opportunity that is giving you very little to nothing on the money that you put there. However, you don't want to put that money into buying another land for land banking, because you will be needing the money, say in a 6 months period or 12 months period for a particular project, and you know that if you put that money into buying a land, the time will be too short for you to say, okay, let me get that money back and use it for the project that I have. So because of that, you either put it in savings, just hold on to it so that it will be available when you need it, or you put it in, say, things like mutual fund that's really the interest that they pay you is not much, but you are just using it as a way to keep the money there and don't want to put it in savings, because at least savings is worse than mutual fund, right? Now, that is the problem that some investors face every now and then. You wish that there was something you could put that money into that you quickly get some return on investments and use it for that project you want to use it for, without having to say, let me sell the land. Because if you buy a land, even though land banking, I think, is one of the best forms of real estate investment, you still have to sell that land for you to get that money back, right? And sometimes land don't sell fast, depending on, the location, and depending on the marketing. If you don't have a lot of people marketing the land, it might not sell fast. So it is the short-term return that this buyback scheme gives that makes it attractive to the investor. The return that you get on the investment is already clear from the beginning, and the time you get that money and your return on investment is clearly stipulated, and the return is guaranteed. Say for example, you want to buy a house, you still need like some money to save to what you have to buy a house. You can just take that money, put it in buyback, get 40% of it added to you, and then you use it for the project you want to use it for. So it's a quick way also to help the investor raise money for whatever projects that they need, and also make sure that they have quick access to that money when they need it. Immediately it's mature, you get your money. Right on that date, it is mature, you get your money. Now, how does this work? Let me break it down for you. The investor buys into the buyback scheme at a minimum amount of 1 million naira to as much as 500 million naira for a period of time of either 6 months or 12 months, and at a guaranteed return of 20% or 45% respectively. Now, to secure this investment for the investor, the developer offers a piece of land as a collateral to the investor. The size of the land given as collateral is determined by the amount that the investor is investing into the buyback scheme. Usually, this land given to the investor is given at a discounted price, meaning that the size of land that the investor gets is usually higher in price than the amount that the investor is investing. So the buyback scheme also allows the investor to get a piece of land at a very discounted price. Now, speaking specifically about the Landview Buyback scheme, Landview is a real estate development company and is a company that myself and my team have chosen to work with on this alternative real estate investment opportunity, and we trust enough to work with on the real estate buyback scheme. There are different developers offering this investment opportunity. So I'm going to be speaking about the opportunity specifically as it relates to the Landview buyback scheme. Now, for the Landview buyback scheme, for every 1 million naira that you invest, you are given 150 square meter piece of land as collateral to back up that investment. So you invest 2 million, you get 300 square meters. You invest 3 million, you get 450 square meters, and so on and so forth. Now, remember that in this scheme, the land given as collateral is given at a discounted price, meaning that 150 square meters that this person is getting for every 1 million naira, it is valued at a much higher price than what the person is getting it for. So that's another benefit of this scheme. Now, still on securing the investment for the investor, there are certain documents that the developer will give to the investor who invests into the buyback scheme. Now, the first one is a receipt. Just like in every transaction, you must get an official receipt. You get a receipt for that amount that you've invested into the buyback scheme. The next you get is a deed of contract. Now, this deed of contract will spell out everything regarding this investment, including the duration, including the amount invested, and so on and so forth. Now, the final thing you get, but this is optional, is a post-dated check. You can choose to collect a post-dated check. Say you make an investment now into the buyback scheme in February, and the investment will mature, say you do the 12-month option of it. So that's February in 2026, right? Now, you'll be given a post-dated check that will contain your capital and your return on investment that you can cash on that date that your investment is due. That is optional for people who like to be paid with check, and for people who want to have something just to hold on to. Not everybody wants that. Most of my clients who've done it rather just wait and then the money is paid into their account. But you have that option as well. So these are the documents that you get that backs up this investment offer. Now, at the end of the buyback scheme, that is when the investment matures, which is either in 6 months or in 12 months, the investor will get their capital with their return paid to their bank account. Or for those who collected post-dated check, they'll be able to go to the bank then and cash out that check. Except the investor chooses to roll over their investment. Yes, you can do that. You can say at the end of the duration, you can let the company know that, oh, please don't pay me, I want to roll it over. And you can also choose whether you want to roll over just your capital and collect your interest, or roll over both your capital and your interest. So that is it about the buyback scheme. Or is it? Well, there's something else I must mention. I mean, everything could have ended here, and this investment opportunity will still be an amazing opportunity to take advantage of. However, Landview Buyback Scheme decided to take things a step further, putting the interest of the investor at heart and say, okay, maybe there are some investors that might need access to some money, some that would think, oh, 12 months is too long to wait. So they came up with this option. It's optional. It's not that you must do it. They came up with this option for an investor to have access to 50% of their return on investment in only 6 weeks of being in the program. Do you know how powerful that is? Let me use examples to break it down for you so that you see how powerful this is. Recently, we had a client who took advantage of the buyback scheme and invested 30 million naira for a 12-month period. So that means at the end of 12 months, the return on this 30 million naira for this client would be 13.5 million naira in 12 months, right? Now, what the company is offering is that in only 6 weeks into the program, this client, if he so chooses to, can access 50% of that 13.5 million naira, which will be 6,750,000 naira. They can access it in only 6 weeks of being in the program. That way, at the end of 12 months, they get their capital and the remaining 50% return on investment. So there is that option. Now, to even blow your mind further, we know of a client who invested 400 million into the Landview buyback scheme. That means in 12 months, this person have a return on investment of 180 million naira. Remember, all this person had to do was invest in the Landview buyback scheme, and they went on their way and moved on with life. 12 months later, this person's return on investment is 180 million naira. Now, out of this 180 million naira, Landview said, okay, in case you need money, you just don't want to wait that long to have access to, the money you've invested and your return on investment. Landview said, okay, you can access 50% of the return that will be due on this investment in only 6 weeks of being in the program. So that means this person can access 90 million naira of their return on investment within only 6 weeks of being in the program. This is powerful. This is amazing. Now, with that wraps it up for everything you need to know about the buyback scheme and the Landview buyback scheme. I know you have some questions as you're listening to this. As you've gotten all these details, you have 1 or 2 questions you're pondering about. I don't know what they are, so that's why we have our numbers on your screen now. Please use it to call or send us a WhatsApp message. If you have questions, we'll be glad to clarify them for you and then help you seamlessly invest into the Landview buyback scheme. However, I'll quickly answer one common question that I'm sure most people will have after listening to something like this. Now, the question is your investment secure? How are we sure that this thing will not pack up? How are we sure that we can trust this company? Yes, it's nice, it all sounds good, but what if they don't pay? What if the whole thing falls up? I mean, we've heard of investment scheme before, here and there, and before you know it, they close up and all that. I know, I relate, I understand it all. However, the first reason is that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme that is out there that, okay, bring this money, and then the only way that they are getting the return on investments that they are paying people is stealing from A to pay B. That's not what's going on here. Now, remember that the reason we are here, it is because real estate developers need money to invest in real estate development. So they are not collecting your money and keeping it idle. They are collecting your money and investing it in properties, allowing you to thereby have access to projects that you ordinarily wouldn't have access to. They use your money for that. What they are doing is simply sharing profit with you. So this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Your money is not sitting down idle. They are not stealing from A to pay B. If you are the only one investing a buyback in this month, you will get your return on investment because your money will be put to work. Whether another person invests or not, their money doesn't matter to the return that you are paid on investment. That is one. Two is that who is behind this? Like I said at the beginning, we are only working with Landview. Now, Landview is owned by Emmanuel Ashilihu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's an Igbo man, and Igbo men, when it comes to business. Anyway, talking seriously now, Emmanuel is a guy that has been in the real estate industry for about a decade now. We knew him when he was a real estate consultant like us, but over the years, he has grown to become a developer, and he has been in the real estate developing industry now for 5 years, I think, at least, that he has been there. And over these years, he has dealt with people with honesty and transparency and fairness, which is everything that we identify with. And this is why we choose to work with him alone, and we have that relationship with him. We've known him for a long time. This is someone that is just a phone call away. He's open to everybody. If you say, oh, before I invest, I want to talk to the MD, we will get you on the phone with the MD. That's how easily accessible he is. Being that is a guy that shares the same value with us, we've built that business relationship over the years. That's why I said he's the only one we can associate with in this, because we know him that well enough to know that he will be honest at all times, regardless of whatever it is that is going on. He will be honest, and he will deal with people in a fair manner. And another thing is that this is probably the best part, is that it has been proven to be true. It has been tested over a few years, and we've seen that it works. Like I talked about the client that invested 400 million, 30 million, and so it works, and they are paid. And we have clients who are invested there, and we ourselves who are invested there. That's how well we trust this person. Otherwise, we won't risk it. That's the thing with everything I bring to you here, is that I will not bring something to you here, me and my team will not bring something to you here that we cannot take advantage of or will scare away from. It will not happen. We will not bring that to you. I can't remember the exact figure, but at the beginning of January, before we started putting more people into the buyback scheme, I had a talk with the MD that lasted for 15-20 minutes, where I was trying to get updated with how things are going. Because if I'm bringing my clients to you, I have to be sure that I check on things every now and then, and things are going well. And the amount they've paid out is in billions. The amount that's been invested is in billions. So when I was getting the update and the result of how the whole thing went last year, I was very pleased. And that's why my family and I were also said, okay, this year we are in. Okay, let's do it. So that will be it for this video. Until the next one, take care of yourself out there, and always make sure to be strategic with your real estate investment. Make sure that your real estate investing works for you and not working against you. And one way to ensure that is to come work with us. Let's work together in ensuring that you meet your real estate investment goals. All right then, bye.